GWAS is, like Paul said, analyzing the X chromosome is so problematic, so I can't link it back to genetics, but it has to be
Was that interpretation of your data correct? That frailty is more common in men? Because that's not my sense.
I don't remember that slide, and I didn't think
thought that in the same age group, females were more likely to be frail than males. I think Dr. Kempu has she'll talk about that in her next slide, I think.
And as it relates to HIV disease progression, we also know that there's about a half-log difference in viral set point between men and women. So there is this role for gender that we don't understand. And we are now with this large sample and some new methods for using GWAS data to answer questions about X chromosomal association. So I'm hoping that might be another avenue that will be quite fruitful. But to date, it's been very poor.
Dr. Hyde?
So it seems to me that, I have a question for the two genetics speakers, because it seems to me that the cohorts you have for HIV non-progressors and progressors, or viral load set point higher or lower, are as big or bigger than the ones that you've looked at in aging, and you think the network analysis is far enough along that you could do that network analysis in those HIV cohorts that have been used?
Yeah, we've done some network analysis, and obviously if you throw all the data in, you get this huge enrichment for immune networks, and it's driven entirely by the MHC associations. When we exclude the MHC, we don't see anything striking in terms of relatedness between the genes that are sort of falling just below the surface of genome-wide significance. We're going to readdress that exact question in the larger sample. So right now, the most complete analysis is on the 3,000, the 1,000 controllers and the 2,000 non-controllers. But it could be an issue of power, and we'll address it again in the 10,000.
It's Jason Baker from University of Minnesota. So I have a question sort of related to the theme of inflammation as it relates to sort of disease, health, and aging. And Bill mentioned, if I get this right, that the health longevity is best predicted by the absence of disease. And so you could sort of maybe think about, with some of the models being presented, that it's also reflective of an absence of inflammation. And one of the problems I've always had with the inflammation hypothesis is just that the disease itself is pro-inflammatory, or many of the diseases that we're looking at. And so are we really just looking at inflammation detecting subclinical disease better in patients that are going to have disease? So to what degree does your approaches and methods really help us hone out that inflammation is really driving the disease, or the absence of inflammation is helping be disease-free? And maybe I'm focusing too much on, it's probably all related in the arrows go both ways, but I think it's sort of underappreciated, the reverse directionality of that. I'm just curious your thoughts and how your approaches might help answer that.
I'll take a stab first. I drank the Kool-Aid with IL-6, I'll tell you that. I think that there is geriatric issues and there are gerontology issues. Geriatric issues are the diseases that occur with aging that contribute to the acceleration of aging. Okay, if you can weed out all those diseases, you still have changes over time that would be recognized as aging. You get, healthy people get gray hair, and they get, and to the extent that those processes are greater in some people than others, independent of disease. For example, inflammation that occurs at the time of menopause, when you start, or andropause, when you start leaking out these inflammatory cytokines, can contribute